Good morning, my friends. Today is a momentous day. Today, we are going to start on the cage. So, I spent a little bit of time this morning before firing up the footage, just cleaning up the inside. I was storing the fenders, the core, a lot of this cage steel inside the car, among other things. I've cleared that out. So that we can get started on what is really my favorite part of the build. I don't know why I enjoy building the cage, but I don't know, I find it rewarding. I think it defines the car. I think it's a big deal. Sipping a little coffee this morning, excuse me. But that is what we're gonna start on today. And this may turn into a two-part episode. It may not, I don't know. It depends on how much progress we make and how much massive amounts of footage we end up with. But maybe let me show you a little bit of the plan. I don't know if you can see this steel here. Maybe I'll climb up so you can see it. I have a large I-beam here, H-beam, I-beam, whatever you want to call it. That's going to be my top halo bar. The top halo bar is basically for rollover protection. It'll sit here, and then I'll have two vertical bars that go down to the frame. And so, you know, with the height you can get on these cars and just a lot of the, you know, the pushing power that these cars have, it's not hard to get tipped over. I mean, we usually see a few tips every season, so halo bar is not negotiable in my opinion. It's not fun to be in a flipped over car, even with a halo bar, let alone without one. Now I'm going to be doing my cage different than I've ever done one before. I'm going to be using some, I'm going to be trying out some new things. So you'll see those as I progress, you know, through these videos, but let's look inside the car real quick. Hopefully, see if I can turn some more lights on. These lights haven't been working too great. Oh, there goes one. It's okay. We'll plug in Mr. Bright here and see how he does. But I'll kind of lay out the rough on the cage. So hopefully you can see everything. Here's my interior of my car right now. We're allowed 2 bars, vertical bars up front inside the door seam. Those have to be this smaller stock here, this 2x3. Okay, those will go up front here and here. There'll be a dash bar that I can make out of this heavier stuff that'll go across. Then I'll have, like I was saying earlier, that attached to my upper halo bar, 2 more vertical bars. I'll put those just behind the doorpost. So I'll have one here and one here. Halo bar across the top. A back bar can run from your 2 vertical bars behind the seat. So that'll also be one of these. And then we get 2 bars connecting the front vertical bar to the back vertical bar. So we'll have one there and we'll have one there. And actually, I'll add a few more bars on this side since this is my driver's side for protection. And then that's pretty much the cage. Off the back of the cage, we will build a gas tank protector. And then we'll plate the front of this. And so that's what we're starting on today, the cage. So first thing, I'm going to figure out where exactly I'm going to go to the frame up here and back here, and then I'm going to mark those areas off, and we're going to cut through the body so that we can go all the way down to the frame and begin welding to the frame. And then after that, I will measure some pieces so that we can start doing doing our bars. All right, I've got these marked out. I'm gonna cut them out down to the frame with enough clearance so that I can get a welder down in there and weld them. These will be my front vertical bars. Alright, I got the body panel cut off the top of the frame on each of these sides. I'm gonna do the back here as well. I'm gonna do one, mark it, measure it, and then I'll measure the other side. So we want to go like this. Now that we got these done, we're gonna do our 2x3 vertical bars in the front here. And I need to know how long to make them, so where I want to go with them is all the way up to here. We're gonna go to here, and then there's gonna be a piece that welds to the front of those bars, and that's gonna be our dash bar. So we're gonna go, and we're gonna take this baby all the way to 26 inches. So we want two pieces at 26 inches. So we're going to clear off the old workbench, get ready to deploy the chop saw. We got our two front vertical bars cut. For the back bars, I've measured, and something that I'm trying that's a little different than what you might have seen in a derby build before is I'm actually going to run my back vertical bars through this piece of plate here and then weld it completely solid around. So I'm measuring from the body. So you got probably an additional ½ inch there, but I'm figuring I'm pretty safe at 48 inches, two 4-foot pieces. And I'm thinking this piece here looks to be 8 feet, so I think I can get two 48-inch pieces out of this. In fact, this might even be longer than that. So we'll cut this in half. These will be our two back vertical bars, and we'll cut those next. Okay, so I've got this front down vertical bar, pretty much in place where I want it. I'm gonna weld it in. There's gonna be, my dash bar is gonna mount in front of it, so that's why it's mounted back a little bit. And there's also another body mount over there that I don't want to mess with. So that's why I've mounted these back a little bit. I've seen them as far forward as up here to the firewall, but so I'll weld this in, and then I'll even weld in the driver's side, and then we'll measure and figure out the dash bar. We've got both of them welded in. There's one, and then you can see the one across the way there. I'm gonna measure them, and we'll get the dash bar cut. All right, got our dashboard in here. Dash bar, I should say, roughly level, and pretty much even on both sides. Going to slide it over a little bit more, and then tack weld it in here. All right, dash bar is in with no jack stand, and we'll finish welding that up. Okay, the way that these vertical bars are gonna come, they're gonna come from down that brown spot right there. They're gonna come up. Now a lot of guys, what they'll do is they'll run them outside this window and over. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut a hole here so that these vertical bars stay inside the roof. That way there'll be, you know, this section of roof and the doorpost on the outside of it, just keeping everything more firm and together. So I'm gonna mark a section out, just eyeballing it. It doesn't have to be perfect per se. It just needs to be in roughly the right spot. So we're gonna mark it like here. And then that goes right to the seat belt, which is right about here. There is a tiny, there's a little piece on the inside, kind of like two little cross pieces. We're not going to worry about these. They don't really add a lot of strength, and we're allowed to bolt or weld our roof to our halo bar. So these really aren't a big deal for us. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take it right to this hole, and then I probably want to take it right about here, which will allow us to slide in our piece here, which should be good. Now, the way that we're going to do this, just for extra strength and to keep as much material as we can, I'm actually going to do this a certain way. We're going to cut here. We're going to cut here. And then we're going to cut up to here and here. Let's see, make sure I'm getting this right. So this is going to go like this. This is going to go like this. And then we're going to cut here. And then here. and then here, and then here. So that way we'll be able to fold this piece in these directions and re-bolt them down through the ceiling. So let's see how this looks. It seems a little angled, but let's see how it slides in. Let's see how bad it is. Yeah, that's really angled. I really want it straighter than that, so we'll cut a notch out of this. Well, I had to make the hole bigger than I wanted to. I would do this different, but this is all experimenting. I got this in here now. I'm gonna tack in this back bar and we'll keep rolling. Okay, well, I got one of the vertical bars in, getting ready to cut the hole so I can get the other one in. Got both of these in. I still have to weld the driver's side one, and then what we can do is we're going to take this high lift jack. I'm going to put it up here at the top and just spread it out as far as it will go so that it's nice and even. Then I'll put my bottom back bar in, weld it, then I can take this high lift off and we can do the top. Everything, we've got these two back bars welded, so we're going to attempt to use this high lift to maximize where these sit against the car on the sides. So I'm hoping this won't be too complicated, but we do not have much in the way of clearance here. I don't think we're gonna get too much, but let's try it out. Pretty much straight down there. Pretty damn straight down there. Alright. So, I think we mostly got this where we want it. Now, we are going to measure down below, leaving this in place, and we'll cut our back bar. And once we put our back bar in, then we can remove that high lift. The back bar is going to be a piece that I've been saving for a while. Specifically to be a back bar, it's a big round 1/4 inch piece of this up here, ready to be cut. And now we can measure our back bar area here. All right. We are looking at I'm thinking 52 inches. 52 1/4. 52 1/4. Let's measure it one more time from the bottom. No, from the bottom it looks different. No, this is definitely these bars are definitely running at an angle. So I think we're gonna run it right about here. Let's call it 52 1/2. 52 1/2. We'll hammer it in at 52 1/2, and wherever it sits will be where it sits. All right, piece is cut. Let's see how she's gonna go in. May need these guys. See how this goes. All right, let's grab the level. But it's getting pretty close to where we want it. I might go up one more on these jack stands. See how that affects. Oh yeah, that's way off. So you've got to come up a little bit. So let's put something you here. See how that looks. Pretty doggone good. Back bar's in. As you can see, looking good. Nice and level and welded up solid. So we are going to attempt to take off this high lift now. Let's see if we can do that. and she's off. So now we've got all this welded solid. We can take this H-beam and we're gonna set it on top of these 2 vertical bars, and then I'm gonna mark it from underneath, and then I'm gonna cut square holes so that we can actually lower this completely onto the ceiling and over these. Let's see if it fits. All right. Like a charm. Just to show you before I weld this on, I did go ahead and bolt the roof back together just because I'm like that. So I'll set this up now and we'll get her welded on. Well, got the halo bar mounted. So I know I just used a bunch of scrap pieces, kind of welded it solid completely around the hole that I cut. I've got a piece of angle iron in there in the center just to give it additional strength, and then that side is welded also. So it's looking pretty good. Got the sidebars in and welded. I just got one more seam I gotta weld up there, but as you can see, there's the passenger side. Here's the driver's side. A little gap in there, so I had to throw some steel in there, but that is feeling really nice. Next step, gonna cut our mid-bar. Haven't done a mid-bar before, but I'm gonna do one for this build. So got another big piece of steel over there. We're gonna measure this, cut that, see how that goes. This is roughly what it's gonna look like, where it's gonna go. I just have to weld it. So we'll weld it up real quick, and then we'll see kind of how the aftermath looks. Mid bar is welded in. It's very solid, very pleased. Now, last stage before we can call this cage finished is we're gonna gusset all these different corners. And so I am gonna spend some time cutting gusset pieces like this. I'm just gonna be using a variety of scrap material that I have left over. I don't wanna use any more of my good stuff. So I'm gonna chop all that up, and I'll weld all the pieces in, and then I'll show you the aftermath. The cage is in and complete. So let me find the light real quick. I'll just use the light on my phone. All right. So I gusseted a diagonal piece there. We've got a gusset off of some old rear end piece, spring holder or something. I got 1/4-inch pieces of plate going up the sides. I got a piece that goes from my round back bar to my side bar. You've seen the mid bar already. Again over here, plate, piece going between the round bar and the side bar. More gussets here. And then I will show you, also was able to add, I guess kind of capped off the end there just for additional strength. And I did the same thing on the other end with that nice piece of angle iron in the middle. This thing is going to be stout. So that is a cage, and I really couldn't be happier. I mean, I think it'll be very strong. Next episode, we will probably do the gas tank protector, bolt the halo to the roof, and probably do our down bars and our rear bar maybe even. So thanks for tuning in. Hope you subscribe, and I hope you're enjoying the channel.